There you
It's
go.
business
And we're
fault.
live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5 people watching. I hope everybody has eventually moved over from the other chat. We made a boo boo. Savage took her tits out. Simos got all excited. Amarosh was embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I hit the wrong button.
Yeah,
Busy,
it's true.
got really upset with his trial run and walked out.
Should be working now. Everybody should hear us. Everybody should be able to see us.
Excellent.
So yeah, I was late to the party. So
You were a little
basically,
late.
they spent 2 hours rehashing 2019.
Oh, they're not done yet. They're still going.
Yeah.
Joking.
They've opened it up now to a wider thing, so they can rehash 2019 again with more people.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. It's content. I mean, it is the biggest YouTube show in history, probably.
Well, I think what made it so big, if you check out Nate Brody, who's obviously exploding back now and all the rest of it.
Oh,
Did they not make most of their money off merchandise?
what? Who? The non-sec. I have no idea how much they made on merchandise.
What
No
merchandise
idea.
did they have?
Oh, they had a fair bit. Carl had done a whole range.
I think
of
that was their
merchandise.
biggest income source at the time.
No way. They had plenty of Patreon supporters,
Yeah,
didn't they?
Patreon, I would have thought would be the
Patreon
one.
merchandise. I don't know. I missed all of it. I don't follow drama. I just point you in directions of people.
Okay.
I thought that their Patreon was actually bringing in a decent chunk of change.
I'm just gonna tell
And
lies.
I
and
feel
lies
like
and
their
Yeah.
merch was like
It was a big
not
part.
even in
I
the
remember it
thousands.
sticking out. Here, I could be fucking wrong. I don't give two shits. I literally don't give a flying fuck. I'm just out
I
there to
don't know.
stir the shit.
There's a lot of dockets.
Well,
And by
Steve
that I
McRae,
mean there was a lot of documents on the
Mr.
document.
Mr. McRae
Yeah.
has receipts on me, and he just can't explain them or let them out to the public. But if you want to see them, anybody, go and ask McRae. He has receipts.
Secret evidence.
He does.
Secret evidence.
And if you ask him about which line, page, specific document, etc., he will ghost you.
Oh, Lauren said in relation to the merchandise, they had a T-shirt that was misspelled. They did, yes.
Laura, I am not gonna Laura. I have set up so many fucking discords. I have set up discords for Holy Kool-Aid, the transatlantic fucking show, and all the rest of it. And I spelled atheist wrong for fucking ages. But I'd made one Discord that I copied and pasted, and I'd spelled it wrong in the first one, and only for fucking Titan catching on. He was like, your E and I's back to front, and oh fuck, I've like 12 discords I need to go and read fucking.
I've misspelled atheist like a lot of times. And then especially when I will capitalize it for when it was Jimmy went by Mr. Atheist, my phone would be like, "Well, you capitalized it."
You had to name drop, didn't you? You just had to name. Yeah, we all know.
That's how people started knowing who I was in this community.
Yeah. Well, no idea. I think I subscribed to his channel, but I never watched any of his content because I just found it a little bit. Nah, yeah,
It was
that's all been
polished.
done. It wasn't. It might have looked good, but the actual disc, the content of it was just rehashed atheist stuff, which wasn't that accurate either.
But
and
it was repackaged in a pretty package.
Sure.
And he faked having the confidence that he didn't have, but it came off well on camera.
Sure, but it just
he
wasn't.
He had camera presence.
Just wasn't intellectually there, considering the community had already been going 6 years and had hashed most of that stuff out.
I agree
and
with
that's
you.
what I felt was a little disappointing, because he clearly hadn't watched the community to find out what had been said and taken the philosophical points that people like Ozzy and Bert Poole and Mouty and several others had been saying about it, and that's disappointed me.
Hey, Monster, you are definitely in no way, any way at all, even in a secret forum on Twitter, no?
No. I do not do Twitter.
But I feel like what he did do was for people who were newly out of the Christian community, specifically,
Right.
in that, like, JW, Mormon, more, like, cult-like aspect of it, the kind of deprogramming,
Mm,
and I feel like he did do that, and if he would have fully immersed himself in the community, done the research, spent the time, been able to direct people to the right resources, and, like, actually, been non-abusive and, like, not taken advantage of his followers and shit,
mm.
then, like, that could have been something that was cool, but the thing is that he let his narcissism, I think, kind of take over.
Right. I mean, I guess it must be a temptation. I mean, I remember being in bands and stuff, and I definitely went through a couple of years where I was starting to get big-headed. But I never let it get to the point where I was like, like taking advantage of people. That just never happened. Right. So I don't know about some of the stuff I've heard about him. I think it's all fucking dodgy. But all I'm saying is I heard about him. I watched some of his content and found it to be wanting. That's all. And I've seen a lot of atheist content. There was another guy, I can't remember his name now, but just before then, and he's a lovely young cut man, and he's out of again, he came freshly out of some religion which was very fundamentalist, and he genuinely had something good to say, and I could see maybe it wasn't totally the package atheist wise, but he was definitely like trying to coax people along the right path and also towards reasonable discussion, which is the key thing I think is the pointer for me about young atheist channels, right? So often it's really you get out of being out of a religion as an atheist, and I see this quite a lot and have seen it over the years, and you get very angry about it because
Yep.
clearly you've been lied to for a number of years as a child, etc. The indoctrination seems whatever. And then so they start reflecting that. I get that from Tang, to be honest with you. As much as I respect Tang and Oz, I don't think his
Well,
attitude is quite
What
right
are
in
they
terms of.
doing there? I'm very confused there because I've had interactions with the people on an individual level,
Mm,
and more so Oz than anyone else. It seems very genuine. Seems
yeah.
very driven about getting the word out and this, that, and the other. But the whole idea of they're really pushing the monetization. I understand if you can make a job out of doing what you enjoy and doing this and sitting in front of a computer,
Mm,
fair play to you and all the rest of it. But it seems that they're pushing it, in my opinion, just a tad too much.
okay.
I feel like there is a fine balance there, but it is to me, it's not like an ethical thing of like, oh, they're pushing it too much and therefore it's unethical. It's just like a nah, not my taste. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say unethical. You used that phrase. I see.
Right. That's what I'm saying is it isn't.
No, I don't feel that
Mm.
it's unethical. I just feel it's what how I mentioned in the live chat or in the private chat there. Give me 1 second.
Well, one thing I'm getting at is the fact that the communities have become polarized
Yeah,
over the year, and that isn't the fault of either side. That's a fault of the way the internet has gone, and
That's how
somebody made the point
everything
to me,
is.
the way social media has gone, that the platforms themselves get more money if people are polarized. And
Drama.
that seems to me very detrimental towards the cause of atheism, if there is such a thing. If it is a cause, I'm actually thinking more of humanitarianism. But and really, what we want to do is have the internet as a place where religion comes to die, okay? And that's not the case when we get polarized communities. And the way you break that down is by having interesting and reasonable discourse without resulting to personal attacks, etc., etc. And
I
that really gets me about some of these um, kind of advocates for atheism,
yes.
that they just make it too strong, all right, and aren't interested in dialoguing. Although it's very difficult to do that with the other side that wants to polarize.
I
So
have
I
so much
there's
respect.
it's a tight line there.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go on
go
ahead,
I
ahead.
very
Savage.
much the other day, week, whatever, when we had that issue on that one server in Daisy, and I was like trying to like talk to these southern kids that were from the southern US, and they were just saying these things that were like absolutely intolerant. And it was very hard to like not be like, you're a bunch of fucking, you know what I mean? It would have been so easy just to be like ad hominem attack, or like whatever other type of just attack, really. um and to actually, like you said, that's not the answer. That's not gonna make them think about actually what they had to say. It's not gonna actually make them think about their opinion and reconsider it in any way. And yeah, I I don't know if I was so angry when I came out of religion as a lot of people were, but I think that you're exactly right that a lot of people are. And those people are also the people who are more likely, I think, to maybe make a YouTube channel where they're like, I'm so mad about
Yeah.
this that I'm going to make a channel where I freaking talk about it. Because even like my wife was angry and hurt from like a lot of the stuff that happened to her when she came from religion, but she's just like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, it's not even like,
Just fucking sickens me that
like, I was just gonna say she's, like, more likely to she watched more of my crafting streams than she does my streams about
yes,
atheism and religion.
what I'm saying is
But go ahead.
what really fucking irks me, what really annoys me, and I do want to pop over to Amorose and ask her, but that is, as Simon says, where the drive is. When you come out, right, the one, if we could make a really broad statement, the one thing that happens when you leave religion is you're angry. You're pissed off, and that's something you can put across to everybody, or to a big group. Again, broad brushes. You're pissed off, especially in the American. You've been lied to, and this, that, and the other. So you come out pissed off. So you get people who.
They teach creationism in our schools.
I have an awful lot of respect for a certain person in the community who is very unknown. Simos may know them. Spooky definitely does. The person who helped me build my computer and checked it the other night for me. But they have an awful lot of respect for Matt Dillahunty. And I said a few things the other night which I felt annoyed them, or they understood. But, I didn't want to offend them. And I was like, the guy just screams at people now. It's no talking, there's no understanding, there's the approach, and the whole idea of the AXP and all that's going on at the minute is just thriving, giving that group of people who are leaving a thriving community to just be angry with, and increasing the polarization. What happens to you after 6 months of you being angry and finding your own place, that's grand, but we don't have a community for that. We have a community for angry people, and it's thriving and it's getting bigger, and we're becoming just as fucking bad as the other side.
Yeah, bad is the term which I'm not quite okay with there. But
We're not going to be fucking
Amorose.
pedantic, all right? Stop, shush, Simon.
No, no,
I was
I
going
know,
to say,
I
come
know.
to Steve.
Amorose. I'd like to also. You've been around in the community for a long time. You know all the people. What do you think? How's it changed over the years for you?
Well, specifically, if you're talking like the ACA and anybody associated with it, I see a huge reduction in patience because they've been doing it for so long. They're just
Yeah.
impatient.
Yeah,
And I think that comes out too a lot, with the, talking over, yelling, hanging up,
Agreed. Definitely
name
agreed.
calling, impatience. And we even see that with Steve. He gets impatient and he questions people's mental capabilities.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's like, and you're
Yeah.
right. There's you see the need for discussion less and less with some of these people on both sides. They just want to yell. And I don't have the experience of leaving Christianity angry because it was always something that I questioned when I was little. So it's just kind of like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, there's nothing there, It wasn't anything. I wasn't like mad about anything with with the church or anything, because it was just like whatever.
I was more disappointed.
But I grew up Catholic, so it was a bit different. It wasn't like any of these other Christian religions.
Okay, I'm refraining from making a joke. Okay, let me just say that straight away. Because the number of evangelicals I've spoken to that have more hate for Catholics than even for atheists is just ridiculous. And that goes to show you that's why I always had more confidence in the atheist community, in quotes. I mean humanists. Thank you. Because that's what I think of it as. I don't think of us as a community of atheists. I think of us as a community of humanists. But you know, I had much more respect because although we could disagree with each other on many points, but there was never this level where it was, well, you're not at this, well, you're not, you know, there's none of that. There was like, yeah, you're an atheist or whatever. And you know, the first person I met that broke that mold was the person we've been talking about tonight, Steve McRae, who was the first person that said, well, I'm not a fucking atheist. I'm an agnostic. And I went, yeah, agnostic, atheist, that's fine. You know, whatever you want to be. Yeah, don't call me an atheist. I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry, you're an agnostic. Yeah, beg your pardon. You know what I mean? Yeah, oh, you're just a fucking moron. What? You know what I mean? Just
where does the conversation go?
You know what I mean?
Did anybody see Dave Worley's tweet earlier?
I didn't. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the thing is that, like, he and I kind of had that same conversation. And he didn't have a problem with me being like, yeah, use whatever word you want. Like, I don't care.
I said the same thing to him in our debate. I said, call yourself whatever you want. I don't give a fuck, mate. It really doesn't matter to me. Right? All I'm saying is in the side chat, you've called yourself an atheist. All right, that's it. Okay, so when I say atheist, all I'm saying is referring to your side chat. So if you want to be consistent, you know, don't call yourself an atheist sometimes and then object to it when certain other people call you an atheist. For goodness sake, you know. Of course, you know, you couldn't get that. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm an atheist when it comes to evangelical Christianity. Well, don't say that if you're calling yourself an agnostic and you don't want people to call you an atheist because, oh my God.
If somebody says,
I mean,
you can't win with it.
I just want to say that per Steve, I am a Gnostic atheist.
Oh.
Have fun. Have fun with that one.
I don't know what that means.
And I tell you, sorry, I've got to say one thing on that.
Atheist.
I've got to say one thing on that point, which is all of his like real fucking venom came out not when people were discussing it too much. Yes, he was blocking people before for, like, you know, to calling him an atheist, right, etc., whatever. But none of the real venom came out until Matt Dillahunty, Aaron Ra, and people who he thought were big in the community that he was getting closer to and therefore getting on his financial way, right, started saying, yeah, that's a load of bullshit what you're saying. And his arguments back then were complete fucking bullshit. Don't get me wrong. Right? He was saying you must be the only atheists is people who are strong atheists. Right? And that is something Ozzy was promoting. And that's why Steve said that. Now he rode back on that. Right? But he did call Matt Dillahunty an agnostic. Right? Expecting him to go, oh, yeah, that's fine. He did criticize Dave Silverman and the American Atheist Association for their definition. And now he's rode back on it. That's what I'm saying. He likes to say and rewrite history that it was never that. And it was that.
I mean, he didn't, yeah.
That's why he blocked so many people in our community, because they all called him out for it. Right? And he blocked them all and then rewrote the book to say, oh, I never said that. I never said that.
And I know that, like, you hate all of this, like, pedantic bullshit, MathPig, but my whole thing is that, like, if you're gonna, like, be that pedantic about all of this bullshit, at least be consistent. Like,
100% agreed. I was just trying to make a point, which I think we've lost. I was talking about Simos's comment about the polarization. I'll just wait till you're finished, and then I'll jump in. No, it doesn't matter.
No, sorry, mate. I'm muting, so you can make the point. Go, go, go.
No, I don't want to offend Savage because I sounded like an asshole there.
sorry. It's
With
just late.
Simos
I'm being a little.
discussing the polarization, if anyone had seen David Worley, he doesn't always have the most poignant things to say, but if anyone knows David Worley, he does like to stir the pot. He does like to say certain things. And a video that he found, Talk Radio TV, I'm not sure. I've never seen it before. It's obviously a British TV pro, but it's an example of what conversation has become at the minute. I thought it was very good. It's a couple of minutes long. Well, you know, I thought I would share it. It is my fucking channel, Savage. You think you run this place? You're showing me.
I was saying I would love to see it. Like, that would.
It is on trans rights, but now, topic aside, look at the conversation style. Look at the way that they approach it from one side to the other. The more I try and dig myself out of a hole, the more I sound like an asshole. Sure. Love you, Savage. You know I do.
I love you, MathPig.
That they're a female and they're not, and they get found out, then they've been dishonest. Does it mean that they should lose their livelihood? Absolutely not, depending on obviously what that job is.
You're just like trying to like get me heated.
No, I don't really
like right off the bat,
understand how that's got anything to do with J.K. Rowling.
Well, it's got everything to do with it, because if, for example, you have a look at the discrimination that does arrive at people. So you have, so this individual here, born as George Jameson, transitioned, and then
this is David Worley's style. This is David Worley's style. He likes to get the crowd aggravated, right? But again, I
start out by dead naming her. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
became a model, and then when she was exposed as having been originally born as a man as opposed to the woman that she portrayed, then her life was kind of over and the discrimination started. And I guess you know, it
meaning
is.
what?
But
how is her life? How is his life over?
Well, do you call him or her?
Totally him.
You see, that's the problem, because they were born a man and then they became a woman, so they can never be her.
Absolutely, I don't think any man can ever become a woman. No.
So then there's the problem, isn't it?
Just gonna go.
What? Not lying.
Well, it's not a question of not lying. It's a question of not necessarily understanding that somebody can be born in somebody else's body, in the sense that you can be born physically a man or a woman, but inside you may be, and it has been recognised that you might yourself be an opposing sex in terms of how your brain works. Are you saying that that person should be discriminated against for the rest of their life because of the physicality of it?
No, I'm saying what you've just said there is absolute nonsense. There's no way that you can be. You are your body. There is.
This is the point I'm trying to make. It's like, look, there's science, there's evidence, there's this, and they're just like, no, we don't care. We don't care. We care. We have fifis. We have feelings. And this is what conversation has become. There's nobody actually taking any evidence, and I'm not going to let Savage get more and more annoyed. There is like 6 minutes of her just being awful and not acknowledging anything, and like she contradicts herself over and over again. It's
I'm on the wrong side, but whatever. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my wife is trans, so MathPig knew that was going to get me hot under the collar. How am I supposed to respond to this? What was it? What was the question? I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
I was just trying to make is this is now television. Okay, this is what's being pumped out to the media. This is what's on now for people who still watch television. A lot of us, you know, most of us would be internet based and things, but a lot of our older folk, a lot of our families and things like that who aren't into YouTube, who do not watch this. This is what's being pumped out on the media. It's now progressed to the point where there isn't even an intellectual conversation being pumped to the masses, you know. And this is Britain, okay? It's not fucking Fox, I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
assholeish to America or anything. I don't want
No.
to put that across, but we don't have that polarization in media. But it really is starting to progress that way, and it's being put across to these people. And even though we've got evidence, and it's like, here, there's this, that, and the other, and
Surely that isn't the opinion of most, I'm going to call them conservatives in the UK,
I
right?
think the reason that they interviewed her is because she's a leader of some British fucking right-wing group of women's rights against this, that, and the other, and that's how or why she was picked to be interviewed.
I guess in my mind, I'm wondering if like this piece is like, is it giving them traction to be like, oh, look, they're on mainstream television. This woman is actually um, having this debate with respected journalists, or
Yeah, but that's the thing that I'm pointing out. I don't want to say that they're being given the same credibility, but the fact that we are actually discussing these sort of things rather than, Simos
just
may
like trans
remember
women are
this.
women. Like that's
Yeah,
like that's it doesn't need, yeah.
we were grown up, and like I'm watching Tomorrow's World, and it's like, right, this new technology is coming out, this is the way it is, people have found this thing out, this is the new medical science breakthrough, this is on Tomorrow's World as a show where they don't discuss it, they put the information forward. And I'm making a technological, inference, metaphors, whatever the fuck it is. Simos, you remember Tomorrow's World, yeah? It's like,
Yeah, of course I do.
this shit is coming out. There's no discussion. It's just, this is the way it is. This is how science is
It's
moving forward.
informative.
And now we have this bollocks where they put who I think wants to be Marilyn Monroe, on fucking stage with people who are like, this is the evidence, this is this, that, and the other. I'm at a family
Yeah,
gathering and people are like, oh, well,
it's
I told,
opinion TV as opposed to what we were used to in the UK and old of
yeah.
informational in TV with no bias or with biases stated and opposing views put.
But it
And
wasn't
That's
even a
that's
need to state bias. It's, this is science, and you're fucking smart enough as a species and as an educational level to understand that there is no bias in science. This is the facts of the fucking world. It's like, I'm not showing a bias by telling you the world is round.
well, and I guess to me, it's like by giving it this sort of like platform where they are debating it, it is like giving it you know what I'm
It
saying?
elevates
yeah.
it. It
Yeah.
elevates it to a discussion that should not be had.
Yeah.
You know, there
And it's
was.
like we have in so I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the whole Fox News litigation that happened a while back, but Fox News was like you said about opinion pieces, that there was certain legislation saying that like if it was opinions it had to be basically marketed as opinions, and that was a result of a channel called Fox News that had opinion pieces, and they went to court and they said in court, "Oh, well, actually, we're not reporting the news. We're just giving um, commentary." They were just a commentary channel. Um,
Hans asks, do I think that trans people describing themselves with trans creates a bias? I think that it could cause issues depending on who you're talking to, but anyone is welcome to describe themselves if they want to, but depending on who you're talking to, like if you were talking to a conservative and used that title rather than something else, it would cause issues. But that's down to the conservative and not what you describe yourself as.
yeah, I mean,
Identify as, sorry.
I should just point out a couple of things. Firstly, that the National Health Service supports trans people and the process, and you can get obviously, you can get services based on specifically upon that as a diagnosis. So, generally speaking, the law is on the side of equal rights for people, regardless of
I got my wee girl a fucking
identification.
unicorn monster truck, and she showed it to her mother the day in a video call, and her mother was like, "You're determined to turn her into a wee girl." And I was like, "I bought her a doll. I bought her 2 dolls and a monster truck and books, and she gets boys' toys, girls' toys, and an intellectual toy. Just the way it is. Doesn't fucking matter." Omarosa,
I'm gonna
I
I'm gonna go ahead and dip out. I'm gonna say goodnight. Thanks for having me.
thank you for coming.
good night, Omaros.
Nice to see you again.
I think unfortunately in the US, not everybody believes in science. But like it is slowly catching up. I don't think that it should be a fucking debate, and I'm just sick of it being a fucking debate where it's like I I'm hoping that in at least like the next generation or two that like enough people are gonna like know enough trans people where it's just like if you think that like a trans person isn't their gender that they are, then you're just stupid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
like
just accepted.
I don't even know how to like word that. Like
But
you
that's the
don't.
problem. It's not even that in particular. It's a lot of things in general that has now been given, a discussion. And it's the more information that is available out. I feel we don't need to teach kids what to know. We need to teach kids how to discern the difference between bullshit, rhetoric, conspiracy theory. How to actually.
We don't. We don't.
Well, I
And
think
part of it starts with Christianity, I think, or any religion. When you teach a kid that they don't know the difference between knowing and believing. To me, that's where it starts. But
that's a really good point, actually. That's a really good point. I think also, I mean, I think that there is a certain section of bigoted people that will hunt for causes to be bigoted about
Yeah.
because they recognise that that this liberal agenda isn't for them because they're scared or whatever.
I was going to say
They've been taught.
insecurity.
They've been taught to be scared by,
Yeah.
like you're saying, by not knowing what the difference between beliefs and knowledge, which is absolutely key, right? They think that that what they believe is knowledge, and yet they've got no idea of how to justify their positions or what evidence it is or constitute anything like reasons, right? They don't even have good critical thinking skills, and that that leads to a lot of things such as fascism, racism, sexism, right? They're all thrown in together, right? And they're all thrown in together because they've literally been indoctrinated into them. And the number of people, especially in different platforms that I go on, that have this discussion and then will say, "Oh no, I'm trying to make this sound like a reasonable argument." Right, and here's a link, and then they'll put up a link which they've just claimed. This happened today. This is why I'm thinking about it. They put up a link, and they go, "Yeah, here's a link. Such and such a percentage of people have this happens to them, and you can see that these outcomes are worse." And you go, "Okay, so go on. Put your link up. Put your link up, right?" So then you look at the link, and they literally are reporting an opinion piece, which in itself may even be may have a link to a study, but the opinion piece is just misquoting the study.
Yeah.
Right? So they clearly haven't even read the piece that they're talking
cite your
about and posting.
sources.
But that's the
Right?
thing.
And not only that, don't claim opinion pieces are fucking scientific pieces. They're not evidential. They
Well,
are
that's what I
literally
mean.
opinion pieces.
Yeah, that's not a cited source. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
And I just
again.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of it comes from fear, in my opinion. This is something that a friend of mine pointed out to me a while back because I just didn't get it. A lot of it, I just didn't understand. Like there was a certain person that I was dealing with like a bunch of just like misogyny, and I was just like, I don't understand like what it is, like why it is that you just don't want women in this workplace. Like, what is it? And my friend goes, because they're scared. And I was like, what the fuck are they afraid of? Like, I'm a little ass tiny woman in comparison to them. It's like in a metal machine shop. And the point that she made, and it took me a while to get this, is that it is a fear of being treated the way that they treat minorities. right? They didn't want a woman in the machine shop to get treated equal because in their mind, getting treated equal meant that they were gonna get treated the way that I got treated. And they couldn't let that happen.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
they were afraid of.
that's it. Ali G made this joke, and again, like most Ali G stuff, there's something in it. When he said he went to not Naomi Campbell, which is that feminist from the 80s, wrote a very successful book, and he said to her, "Do you think women should be, have equal pay in the workplace?" And she went, "Yeah, of course I do." And he went, "Yeah," and she said, "Well, don't you?" And he went, "Well, no, of course not." And she goes, "Well, why is that?" "Well, then they'll want them in the home." Right? And that is at the root of fear. Hate for men, right? That they think that they have to, they will be emasculated in
Yeah.
their own place. Not at the workplace necessarily, but just in their own gender, they will become emasculated. And that's the fear which drives, and I've seen this through my entire life, that drives homophobia, transphobia, right? And
Yeah.
misogyny.
Demasculate. I know
Demasculation.
you
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
don't, as I said earlier, man. You don't see my Twitter, but when I went out for my fucking staff do personal testimony, rounded up because afterwards, I went out for my staff do for Christmas, and I left at 11:30. I was put at the young guys' table instead of the old man's table, and I'd been much rather been put at the old man's table than the young guys' table because they're like, I'd eat the corn out of that woman's ass, I'd fuck her over the table, I'd do this, that, and I wouldn't touch that one, she's a snobby bitch. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know she's a snobby bitch? Well, the way she's dressed. This is the 6 people that I'm put with, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and sit outside and smoke by myself till my dad comes and lifts me at 11:30 because it's a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
manly workplace. I've also had them make gay jokes and it's trans jokes as well and things like this. It does all come from that insecurity. I made a joke one time. One guy said a gay joke, and I was like, "Man, have you ever had a thumb up the ass? It doesn't, you should try it sometime." And he fucking dropped his jaw like it was seen an
I
airplane
always go to
crash.
like, why are you so obsessed with like butt sex? Like, do you realize that like a lot of gay men like never have butt sex? Like, that's not like necessarily on the menu for like everybody. Like, do you have butt sex? Like, do you and your wife have butt sex? Because like that's an option for you guys, but you
Yeah,
don't always,
Fucking
like
hilarious sometimes.
what's like
mm.
what's your obsession?
Although again, it's an attack for certain people in this community, right? I got asked the other day by a Christian, "Well, would you marry a man?" And I went, "Well, if I loved them, of course I'd marry a man. I mean, that's what marriage is about, right? It's about having a partnership with somebody that you love, right? So if that's fulfilled, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean?" And of course, all the Christians went, "Oh, yeah, oh," you know. And I'm like, I'm not going to because I'm heterosexual. It's unlikely that I will ever find a man that I would love in that way. However, I wouldn't discount it, right? Because
Yeah.
you never know. You see what I mean? And they're all like, "Oh dear, typical atheist, no morals.
No
Oh,
morals, man. You'd do
disgusting."
No
anything for
more.
pleasure,
You know,
wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, of course.
unbelievable, really, unbelievable.
Savage, have you any dirty streams that you want to share?
So on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Central, I stream with my mom.
Mm.
Lovely.
Um,
So sing with
Woof,
us.
woof, woof.
that's about all I've got going on right now. Besides hanging out in Simos' stream most mornings,
Yes,
blowing
indeed.
off some steam, killing some bears.
Killing the bears, hunting the wolves.
Usual Daisy shit.
Do you do anything
Hmm.
with otters in the stream?
No, but
Did you say otters?
I did say otters.
Oh,
there
okay.
there are goats on some servers.
Yeah, I'm not service.
I don't know
Deer,
what you do with goats, but
I was just
pigs,
thinking if
sheep.
Keela's watching.
Oh, okay.
Same
Yeah,
as
come in. The more the merrier. For
Yeah.
sure, the more the merrier.
Formula
We
One
got quite
and animal orgies. Anything else?
and Daisy, yeah. That's it. We'll be starting up again in February. I think it's February. We're going to be doing Formula One again with Fabio, and presumably Peter. Although, yes, that would be best.
Yeah, I've really got addicted to Anno 1800. I played like
Oh, yeah.
7 hours straight the other day. The computer like 4 times told me to fuck off and go have a coffee and have a sleep. Like, but if we
Only
could,
4 times, Simos. Only 4 times.
Only 4 times. Yeah, you're lucky. God, Daisy.
if we could, I've been really enjoying that. I'm totally non-pirating anything. I can give you free copies or whatever. But if we can see if the multiplayer would work in that, the only thing I haven't touched on now is the trade.
Right.
So.
I've seen a few, and I've heard the game is excellent.
Yeah.
I've looked at it a few times, but as I say, for me, it's Daisy all the way at the moment.
Oh,
Because
fuck's sake! Right.
I don't know why. It's just endless. And
Here, I'm just
what I
glad
really like.
I'm just glad
meeting,
you're falling in Savage and not towards poor Granny. That's all I'm.
What I mean, yeah. Well, Savage's mum is a hottie. I will say that.
Oh,
but anyway,
I'm telling
sorry,
my
Savage.
mother that
Sorry,
you said
Savage.
she's second rate. I'm telling my mother you said she's second rate, mainly to stop her from watching your channel.
Excuse me, I did not say she's second rate. That's you trying to stir the pot, okay? But anyway, yeah, no, the thing I like about Daisy is that you can just meet random people from all around the world and have, like a 2-hour
Random
interaction or a
sex
10-minute
acts.
interaction, or you can just shout abuse at each other like the Russians did the other day.
Yeah. We also have a teammate that's from Australia.
Yes.
Which is, we just ran into them randomly, I think, didn't we?
We did, yeah, literally. I can't remember exactly how we met him, but I think he was at the safe zone with the trader.
He had a cold.
Standing next to us at the fire.
No, frostbite, remember? Because he had a different body when we first met him.
That's it. Yes, you're right. Anyway, that kind of thing just happens, and it's really good fun. So that's why we stick with Daisy anyway. Or that's why I do.
Yeah. It's a constantly unfolding drama that you can live out. With bears.
I really feel like a fucking third wheel right now.
With bears and wolves. Oh, great. You should have seen Savage with his bear the other day.
Right.
There's a bear over here. Bear over here. Oh, no, it's all right. It's dead.
Yes, honey. Yeah, right. We girls just woke up, so we're going to end the stream. Everybody talk to us all later. Bye, honey. Yeah, come on now, pet.
Thank you.
Night all. I will talk to you tomorrow morning, Simon.